If you're a unionist, Somaliland is part of Somalia. If you're a separatist, Somaliland is an independent state. It remained that way for over 30 years. Then, a few weeks ago, Israel announced it would recognize Somaliland as an independent country.
I want you to know that I'm signing now, as we speak, Israel's official recognition of Somaliland and its right of self-determination. Our friendship is seminal and historic.
That announcement ignited a fierce debate among Somalis everywhere about history, identity, and the future of the Horn of Africa. We'll explain it all with Abdifatah Tahir, a former member of Somalia's parliament as a unionist representing Somaliland. Welcome, Abdifatah.
Thank you very much.
Let me start by asking you, Abdifatah, how did we get here?
This is the outcome of a long-standing grievances from or on the part of Somaliland, dating back to the 1960 Union. Ever since then, there was a feeling of marginalization within the Somaliland's public and political elite. And ever since then, things have never been the same. And this is how we got here. Then you had a civil war, which erupted in Somaliland, and the way in which the government handled that civil war, and as well as the opportunity that emerged from the collapse of the world order in 1991, where many states were in the making, the elites in Somaliland or the Somali National Movement, SNM, saw an opportunity in which they can secede from the rest of the country. So that's how we got here.
The massacre happened in late 80s in Hargeisa. I think that is what most people remember, especially in Somaliland. Can you explain what that meant?
There was a war, and the way in which the government responded to that war was really brutal. It destroyed major cities in the north. There were massacres in different parts of Somaliland. And the outcome of that was for Somaliland to sit down again in 1991 and to reinstate the independence it had in 1960 with the South. And ever since then, there were two different entities of Somalia, one governed by the government of Somaliland and the other fragmented and governed by different factions in the south. And finally, the formation of transitional governments and the federal government at last.
Why did the leaders from Somaliland, Hargeisa, decided to say we no longer wanted to be part of Somalia?
Well, for me, there are two reasons. One is that there was a long-standing grievances against the political elite in the south, and the way in which, when the union was formed in 1960, very few of the high posts were given to people from the north, and their expectation was that they will either get the presidency or the premiership, and they got none of that. So from there on, then they sort of ever since tried to resist the authority from the South in different formats, through elections, through participating in the government that existed, and saying their grievances out loud, even to the military junta. And then we had last that they opted for the option of seceding from the rest of the country in 1991, and the conditions were right, and that's why I'm saying in 1991 the new world order created an opportunity in which many countries were falling apart, and many countries were forming, then emerging from the collapse of those countries I mentioned. Then these coincidences kind of led to the formation of Somaliland, and there was nothing much really in the south to attract them to the union again. So they stayed on course ever since, and the south didn't bother much, or whatever governments that emerged from the south did not seriously take the question of the union.
Do you think Mogadishu had plenty of opportunities to go to Hargeisa and try to convince them and bring them back into that Somalia nation?
Yeah, the opportunities missed were complex in nature, one of which was brought about by the fact that the central government, ever since the collapse of the state in 1991, was dealing with huge problems in the South that did not allow it to kind of take the serious attention the union deserves. The other reason was the South did not see Somaliland as being worthy of the attention of bringing them back to the Union. It was sort of, if you bring Somaliland back to the Union, then some of the sides may not be able to get whatever they have now. And for that reason, they just thought, it's not the right time to engage Somaliland properly and talk about the Union in a very serious fashion.
Hargeisa has been much safer, much more peaceful than the south. Why didn't they say, okay, Mogadishu is in chaos, these people in the south do not agree in forming government? Why didn't they form the Somali government in Hargeisa instead of breaking away from Somalia? Why didn't they help Somalia?
There was a mild attempt in the 90s, late 90s, by the then president of Somaliland, Egal, who was probably or perhaps more pragmatic than most of the other leaders in the north. He made some sort of gestures in moving the country in that direction, but he definitely faced resistance from the people he shared the table with. And the idea did not fly well with the then Somaliland political elites. And I think it happened at a time when similar efforts were going on in the region. The government of Djibouti was trying to bring the Somalis together. So the whole process was hijacked in some way by competent authorities in the region who were much more happier for the process to be held in Djibouti rather than within Somalia. There was not a cohesive sort of approach in which the federal government of Somalia or the various transitional governments have taken to bring the country together.
My experience has always been people in Hargeisa, especially the younger generation, have been raised to believe that they are not part of Somalia. Were there any attempts at a societal level to keep people united?
Not really. I'm not aware of any efforts, whether by the civil society or whether by other actors, to bring the Somalis together, and that is for obvious reasons. The administration in Somaliland were selling the narrative of the fact that people in the south are not pragmatic. I'm talking about, when I say people, like the elites are not pragmatic, they're not serious about the union, and there is no reason to engage them. And on the part of the federal government as well, there was a very dismissive attitude towards the north. Mostly saying, these people, they cannot secede. We have a juridical power over them. They cannot go anywhere.
The key arguments or differences between Mogadishu and Hargeisa, people in Hargeisa saying we were massacred. At the least, to start in any negotiation, the government has to admit, accept, apologize, while Mogadishu is saying we are not the ones who committed the crimes against people in Hargeisa.
Yes, I mean, the question of the genocide and the massacre that happened in the north shouldn't have taken that much of a space on either side. The massacre happened, so I think previous governments as well said they apologized for it. They made a state apology, and I think it is not the center of the contention between the two sides. What happened now is a new elite has emerged in Somaliland. There are new crops of highly educated, sophisticated people who were, trained in Somaliland, who got their education in Somaliland, who went to major universities in the world, and who got past the idea of the genocide. it is no longer an issue to legitimize the existence of Somaliland as a state through the lens of the genocide. What they have done, they are trying to kind of align the interests of the major powers in the region with the interests of Somaliland. So the idea of the genocide, whether it has happened or whether it had the same magnitude as has been projected by Somaliland, is no longer relevant in the current discourse. But it seems the administration in the federal government is bogged down still on either explaining the genocide differently. Even in international forums, you've seen it in the Security Council, our own ambassador kind of dismissing or downplaying whatever happened in Hargeisa and other cities in Somaliland. I think what the government should have done is that, massacre happened or many killings have happened in Somalia, in different parts of the country. What they should have said, the government of, the state apologizes for whatever massacres or atrocities committed in its name. And it is for the history to, document these things so that they don't happen again. So it shouldn't have been a major issue. Only that the government is naive enough to, downplay and kind of, in the process, hurt the feeling of those who lost their loved ones in those various killings and massacres that happened in the country. So I think it shouldn't have been an issue at all for the federal authorities to address that.
Moving on, a few weeks ago, Israel announced that it was recognizing Somaliland as a state. Why now?
There are two things. One is that the government in Mogadishu kind of cornered Somaliland in ways that has never happened before, and that made them suicidal and caused them to seek recognition from avenues they didn't explore in the past. So that's one thing. The other thing is, as I said, Somaliland has produced a new crop of highly educated and sophisticated, elite or people in Somaliland who spend quite a lot of time on making sure that they no longer use what has failed in the past, like legitimizing the state through the lens of the genocide or through the legal means, like Somaliland was an independent state before it united with the rest of the country in 1960. Those things, they realized it make no sense at all to the major players in the region or the major global, power dynamics and brokers. So what they have done instead is to find ways in which they can sell the strategic position that Somaliland falls, as well as what it can add, what values it can add to the security concerns, the economic concerns of the countries concerned. So having aligned those strategies, those interests with their own, sort of culminated in them seeking a recognition from Israel, which is a major regional player. And I think Israel was excited about the opportunity of getting involved with Muslim majority countries in the region, and particularly Somaliland, which is, almost 100% Muslim. So they sort of, and they did not have that opportunity. Definitely, that the Abraham Accord is all about the normalization of Israel. Relations with the Muslim world, because there is a growing realization that Israel as a state cannot exist through the often favored trade with the West, which is far from it. It needs to cooperate and collaborate and trade with neighboring countries. Unless you have good relations with these countries, which, all of them are Muslims, cannot happen without some sort of political understanding. So I think it is just adding good value for Israel as well. So these opportunities emerged not out of the blue, but through calculations by the leadership in Somaliland. Whereas in the in the south, where I was, there were no similar efforts of kind of aligning Somalia's strategic interests with the global players. So I think the two administrations, one was busy with the day-to-day activities, and and was giving unnecessary attention to something unworthy of the state's attention, whereas the elites in the north were more organized and were focusing on getting whatever they want from the shifting power dynamics in the world.
Israel announced it's recognizing Somaliland, but no other country has followed suit. What do you think that means for people in Somaliland?
Yeah, as we all know, Israel is an influential state within the West, but also there is its popularity is going down in many Western parts. Uh, but definitely, no doubt, it has some sort of an influence in some countries. So it is pushing the idea of gaining more recognition for Somaliland. I think few other countries will follow soon. But what I think they are kind of waiting for the right moment to do that. But I think decisions have been made in few other capitals to recognize Somaliland. So that's my expectation is that some other countries will follow.
Here's the question then. Israel is clear to many why they have recognized Somaliland, what they would benefit from. What would Somaliland benefit from it?
Somaliland has been looking for recognition for over 35 years, and there was no single country in the world that has recognized, including the neighboring countries with whom it traded, with whom it has good relations. The fact of the matter remained that Somaliland is not recognized. So one is that Somaliland gets a shot at recognition for the first time. Second, Somaliland was struggling with how to bypass or get over the juridical power that the government in Mogadishu has over it. So by getting recognized by at least one country, that creates an opportunity in which they can channel quite a lot of stuff through that new state that recognizes them, including trading with them, including even using them as a secondary site for which to conduct their trades. There are many things in which Somaliland could not import in the past, including sophisticated communications, telecommunication, equipment. Even though Somalia as a whole had that difficulty, that will no longer be the case because they have a guarantor now. Israel definitely will benefit them in that regard. But also on the negative side, Somaliland used to export, even though that comes from different parts of the country, including southern Somalia and even Somali inhabited territory in the neighboring countries. It exports about 4 million heads of goats and sheep to um, Saudi Arabia. So there is a possibility that Saudi Arabia says, because you normalize a relationship with Israel, we no longer want to import that product from you. So I think there are a number of benefits that Somaliland can get from the recognition.
You explained what Somaliland might benefit from. What about Somalia? What would Somalia lose?
Somalia definitely will lose the sovereignty, the uncontested sovereignty it had over Somaliland. There's now, since one country has recognized it and few others may come, the total juridical power and sovereignty it had over Somaliland will almost come to an end or be dented, pragmatically speaking. Somaliland is not recognized by the United Nations, so it will remain for a long time in the map of Somalia. But having a reliable partner, a very powerful, very influential partner in the region, will make it difficult for Mogadishu to engage with Somaliland in ways it used to before, or to have a power it used to have before. So these shifts, creates at least or weakens Somali authorities' position and power over Somaliland. So that's one major political aspect I see. Otherwise, Somalis normally have trades, cultural connections, and all of that. That won't be ended, in my opinion. So it will continue. So the only thing maybe Somalia as an authority will have missed is the political clout it had before over Somaliland.
There are also reports that this recognition of Somaliland by Israel could ignite another civil war, because we know not everyone in this Somaliland territory agrees that idea of breaking away from Somalia, like SSC, like Audal. Do you think that fear is genuine, the fear of another civil war?
Yes, that fear is genuine. This is nomadic societies, and if you try to divide them, who owns where, you realize is a lot messier than projected in the media. In any country that's emerging in a similar context, a contested territory where you have a recognition or state formation taking place amid contestation from both the authority from which the country is seceding, and also within internal dynamics. There often happens some sort of conflict, because everybody is not going to be happy with the union. So that is a fact. But also, what is a fact is that recognition is a political decision. It is not a legal one. It doesn't also have much to do with how much territory you control. So, for instance, the government in Mogadishu only controls, the capital city and few other areas. Yet it is recognized as the legitimate authority of Somalia. So, if a country recognizes Hargeisa as a new, or Somaliland as a new state, then whatever it claims, whatever within the claims, territorial claims of that new state, is recognized as such. So recognition brings about, sort of new political dynamics and reality. Within the dominant group of ISAC, I don't expect them to be divided on the issue of whether they become an independent state or whether they. But with the other clans, there might be some problems. Recently, the federal government of Somalia was accused of, manipulating people in Audal to make some sort of uprising. Djibouti was also accused of doing or providing some funding for creating chaos in Audal region. So definitely there is a tension in that region, which the authority has to find some ways to deal with. So there is a concern about, the recognition also coming with some sort of insecurity and uncertainty.
One of the problems Somalia faces is that whoever is the head of the Somali government, or in the capital Mogadishu, tries to bully others. They try to dictate what they should and shouldn't do. Again, there are concerns that Puntland, Jubaland, who are also frustrated with Mogadishu, might try and come up with something to at least be, confederate. What do you think about that idea?
Yes, definitely the idea of these two regions also, considering either becoming part of a new confederation or even seceding right away from the rest of the country is out there in the open. They don't deny it. They themselves say that. And they blame the authorities in Mogadishu for having failed to bring the country together, to chart a way forward, to sort of at least protect or at least adhere to what has been agreed on in the past, or to at least safeguard the constitution, hold elections on time. So they have legitimate concerns about the way in which the state is run, and they think, they say they don't want to be part of a new dictatorship in the making. And the only leverage they have against Mogadishu is to say, okay, we secede from you if you don't listen to us, if you don't, you've been ruling the country for 4 years legally. You can't just run the country illegally by grabbing the power or coming up with a constitution of which they are not part. So I think they have some concerns as well. And the two ideas they are entertaining now is either to be part of a confederation or seceding right away and saying, look, we are going the way of Somaliland. So there is real concern about that as well. Yeah.
Thanks, Abdifatah, for explaining this complex story. And thank you for watching.